Hey everyone, good afternoon. This is JR, founder and CEO of Social Market, and here's Leon, CMO of Social Market, and this is Social Ledger Report.
I'm excited. Lots of news. I'm excited every week, but this
Yeah.
this week feels more newsy.
Yeah. So for a while we've been talking about stablecoins, but this time we are taking a small change, not because we don't want to talk about it, but stablecoins aren't trending as much this week. Coinbase is. And the first story that we want to talk about is it released a new 402, it's called X402 open source payment protocol built on HTTP Rails. And then Coinbase joined Riot Games with League of Legends to be its own exchange provider. And then it actually acquisition Deribit for its do you know Deribit again, Leon? I believe it's
Mm. It's that crypto company. It was. I just don't
okay.
understand what they were doing.
So the breed, I just looked it up. It's the derivatives platform. So it did it for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it's
Mm.
probably one of the biggest ones out there. So that's the last story for Coinbase, and then we're going to talk about a wallet from that is tied from the Silk Road, moved over 3,000 BTC, which is like almost $10 million, and NFT Doodles launched its own meme coin today. So yeah, lots and lots to cover. But if you guys want to watch more stories in the future, you can subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and follow us on our socials. So with that said, let's talk about the first story. So I'm sharing my screen. So this is on Twitter as usual. Coinbase developer platform announced this on May 6th, which I believe was on Tuesday, um, where it introduced its X402 platform or protocol. It it's a new payment protocol. This guy here does a if you look at the thread, this guy does a demo on how it works, from a coding level and what it does, and it goes more into it. So if you ask me, I've said a lot right now, but if you ask me, I think this is a big step in the right direction for actually leveraging blockchain as it was originally intended to upgrade the financial system. Which I know Brian Armstrong, who's the CEO of Coinbase, he's talked so much about upgrading the financial system. So this is a big step in that direction.
Yeah, and so for me, what it is, it's an internet native payments um, system that uses stable coins over HTTP, right? That
Yeah, it uses stablecoins on its protocol, which stablecoins is probably the best way to do it.
so
Yeah.
it's essentially turning an HTTP status code into a like API, more or less.
Yeah, pretty much. So if you look at this post, which is right below the demo, and this guy uses Claude to, talk about the product. So first, a little history. HTTP 402 payment required has been a part of the internet's blueprint for decades, but it was never used. X402 turns this 402 status code into a real payment layer, letting any server request payments and any client, human or agent, respond with digital dollars, for instance, stablecoin USDC. And it talks more about it here. I'm not going to go into it right now, but it certainly talks about for API providers and developers, subscription models are outdated, UX heavy, and cumbersome for agents to navigate. Pay-per-use APIs without subscriptions are now possible with X402. So, pay-per-use API microtransactions have the potential to kill the API key and replace it with paradigm where an API request is simply bundled with an on-chain payment signature to authorize a request. And this approach is more scalable, more efficient, and finally, economically viable. And it opens up a new chain business model for content and cloud service providers. So, yeah, it's kind of like an API mix, but with an internet protocol, which is pretty innovative if you think about it, because we've never seen
Yeah.
anything like this before.
I think the part that's going to be interesting is the implementation on stuff like the content creators part. If you can gate a blog post and have a payments required one, the New York Times is going to be harder and harder to read an article.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
that's but that's I could see it being there, and also just like from a an AI part, like if an AI can, like if ChatGPT, if you load it with some stable coin and then you're out there going and it's querying an article and you want to pull it in from the New York Times, it can just transfer money. That would be very interesting.
Yeah, so kind of just to highlight another point again, when it talks about like it's kind of like integration with an API layer, it says here, pay-per-use API microtransactions have the potential to kill the API key and replace it with paradigm, or I'm sorry, not that, but it mentions, you don't need an API key, which is a lot of the times how API services, monetize themselves,
Yeah.
and it removes the layer of having you check out, with a, you know, outdated model, subscription model, or UX heavy and cumbersome for some agents to navigate. So it seems like not only can you, seamlessly integrate this in the middle, like kind of like a middleware, but also, I mean, it's all software, so you don't need to add more things on it just to simply process a payment. So it synergizes with AI. It synergizes with APIs, you name it. Um, but this guy, he talks about you know demoing with this tool. So for context, I don't want to go through the whole video, but this guy has like I believe like a chat bot kind of interface, and he's selecting what he wants to buy, and he just processes the payment through a message instead of like having to check out. So here he's talking about like the metadata, like well the functions with code, and before that, the integration was pretty straightforward. So this almost looks like Telegram, the interface. So all he's doing is, hey, I have this is my wallet, just through buttons I can click what I want to do, all in this, messaging interface. No need to check out, no need to put in your credit card payments or any kind of payments. It's that seamless. So X402
Yeah.
sounds really cool, and it looks really cool.
It's going to change how the internet is. It's also fascinating that this has been hidden in internet like protocol forever and just nobody used it.
Yep, exactly. So I'm pretty excited as a developer. If this is something that we can leverage on social market, this is something we will leverage. Um, Now it's open source, so that's already pretty easy to get into. I'm pretty excited to see what people are going to build with it. So I think that's as far as that story goes. Did you have any final thoughts on that story, Leon?
No, no, that was it.
Cool. Yeah. So, X402, let's see what happens. On to our next story. So Coinbase, here we are again. Coinbase becomes exclusive crypto partner for Riot Games. So if you know Riot Games, popular game from them is League of Legends and Valorant sports events. So it generally does sports events, but here this is from Cointelegraph. New Coinbase becomes exclusive crypto partner for Riot Games, global League of Legends, and Valorant esports events, bringing blockchain rewards to enhance fan experience.
I want them to put crypto for CS:GO. I want like CS:GO has all of those really neat like skins and other stuff and treasure boxes, whatever it is. Um, they should make those NFTs and then put them on chain and use crypto as a thing for it. Like there's so many games where if you could own a physical like NFT of it and there's a couple, you know, thousand of them minted in various ways, like that would be a really interesting way. Because like you gotta imagine like Fortnite, for example, even. They have
Yeah.
skins. Like if you could buy a NFT crypto skin that's, only a couple hundred were minted, like that's a really cool way to make these more realistic. And then also it adds a value to the game that wasn't exchangeable before. So I'm interested to see what League and then even Valorant does. Like Valorant could, do skins and other things. Like that could be really, really interesting.
I don't think this is happening anywhere else. I mean, well, actually, I'm lying. We've seen it with Axie Infinity, which is a mobile um, game that leveraged the Ethereum network. It kind of flagship like gaming with crypto, and we've seen some VC backed companies also do that. Um, So, I mean, Coinbase, it's probably the biggest exchange. Riot Games is pretty reputable. Every League of Legends, God knows League of Legends is so popular, and Valorant as well. So,
I
let
think
me
they're
let me
Chinese
share.
owned, right?
Which one? I'm sorry.
Riot.
They have an American presence, but I know for certain they have a.
I'll look it up. Riot, yeah, Riot Games owned by Tencent because
Okay, yeah.
they might have
So
to divest and stuff. So, and also interesting because China's a little bearish on crypto.
China needs to man the hell up. But in all seriousness, I'm not surprised. If you guys have been in the crypto space for a while, China has banned Bitcoin and crypto mining for a long time, and then they unban it, and then they will maybe like a year or two later ban it again. So, it doesn't know it. I don't know if they know what they're doing, but it would not be in their good interest to ban, crypto right now. So if you, I used to play League of Legends a lot. So with League of Legends, for instance, they have this package with Amazon Prime already. So if you're subscribed with Amazon Prime, you get Prime Gaming and you get all these perks in the game like every month.
Mhm.
So I don't know if we'll see that in Prime Gaming as well, but maybe if you're a Coinbase subscriber or a Coinbase user and you link your account, your League of Legends account with Coinbase, we're probably going to see a package very similar to this where you get in game rewards or crypto based, on chain based rewards, which, I'm really excited for that. It makes it so you get value even outside of the game, which, gaming is one thing. Like you using your time to be entertained, to play games, to relax, whatever it is that you do is one thing. But outside of that, you don't really get much out of it. Like, you know, maybe if it's your job to be an esports gamer or to play video games, like if you're a streamer, okay, then that's where you can see some more value on playing games outside of playing the game at that moment. So, you know, Fortnite, for instance, I know people, you were talking about Fortnite. I know people, they put a lot of money and a lot of hours into Fortnite. And, Fortnite's so popular. People sell their accounts on eBay for like hundreds of dollars if they have a really good list of skins that are like not available anymore. So you also mentioned CSGO, how, hey, if you could make NFTs of like weapons or whatever, that alone would also be pretty big because it means your account has monetary value and, you could even trade whatever you have in your account so that way you don't need to sell, like, you wouldn't have to sell your account to make some money. You would just simply trade stuff that you have in your current account, like a crypto wallet, for instance. So,
Because you can right now with CS:GO sell the like a gun that's with a specific skin on Steam for a specific amount of money.
oh, I didn't
So
know
like
that. So,
layering in crypto could just be a really cool thing.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. I know CS:GO. A lot of the revenue comes from that model, but I never really played CS:GO in that at that level. Now, expanding into crypto capabilities, in the very least, if you make it so it's stablecoin backed, it would make it so it has more value. Your account has more value. You can do more with it. That alone is a big win. So, one more thing about that, this guy, Chad Steingraber, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He kind of just talks about it a little bit more about what I just said, but this is the official tweet from Riot Games, or no, this is on LinkedIn actually. I recognize the emotes, or the reactions, whatever you call them. He said, Riot Games said, we're bringing on Coinbase to be the exclusive cryptocurrency exchange and blockchain technology partner of the games. We look forward to collaborating together to create deeper fan experiences, starting with VCT Masters Toronto. So VCT Masters Toronto, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like a big event, and it's happening this year in Toronto. So I think they're going to announce more. I think they're going to talk more about what they're planning to do in this event.
It's really interesting. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so this takes place in June 22nd, the Valorant Masters Toronto. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to talk about for this story. Do you have any other thoughts? Leon, as far as
No, I want to
getting
see like what they announce more on and how it pans out. But we've got a few more topics, so let's keep
yeah.
chugging along.
Yeah, so next, we're talking about Coinbase buying Deribit. So Deribit, again, I think I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah.
It was announced by Brian Armstrong as well on Twitter. He mentioned it just yesterday, May 8th, as of recording this video. So he said, "Hey, I'm excited to acquire Deribit official." Well, Coinbase acquiring it. This makes Coinbase the number one crypto derivatives platform by open interest and options volume.
It
The
was
strength
2.9 billion, right? I think that's the final number that they put out there.
Yep, yep. So Coinbase, well, I'll get to it in a little bit, but Kraken was actually also trying to buy Deribit, but their offer was not as high as Coinbase. So Coinbase got it for 2.9 billion with a B. And this is he quoted Coinbase's tweet here where they acquired Deribit, and kind of just talk about what they're doing. This video is just the announcement. So this thread talks about it a little bit more, and it talks about a little bit about the volume that the platform brings. So in this post, it talks about brings approximately 30 billion in open interests and 1 trillion plus in trading volume. So this platform is packed with trading derivatives. So this is from CoinDesk. It talks a little bit more about the deal that was done. So I'm not sure if you know, Leon, but so it was acquired for. So Coinbase acquires Deribit for $2.9 billion. So 700 million comes in cash, cold hard cash, and 11 million in shares of Coinbase Class A common stock. So it was kind of like a package. I don't think that was a bad deal as far as Coinbase goes. If I were Deribit, I would probably well, they're already bought them at a premium, so I don't know what else to say. I'm never been in these kind of deals, but it doesn't seem like a bad deal to me.
I guess it won't be a bad deal if everything goes smoothly because I believe they're a Dubai-based business. That's where they're licensed. There could be like complexities to all of the regulatory bodies. Like the United States could still have problems with this. Like there could be problems all over the world. Like, it's a foothold in the Middle East. It's a region that's growing interest in crypto. There's a lot on it. I guess that's all they do is derivatives. I didn't know what else they did. I didn't really understand what they were doing beyond that. Is it just derivatives?
I believe so. So it always these kind of platforms, they are usually known to do one thing at a time, which business side of point, look at it how you will, but I think it only did derivatives.
Yeah, I just looked at it. They have futures, options, swaps, and then they have,
Okay.
oh yeah, they do have forwards too. So they've got all the derivatives. It's interesting because it's going to make it's making more and more of the crypto market just like the stock market.
Yeah, yeah, effectively. So if you go to Robinhood, or I don't know about Charles Schwab, but for the sake of my point, in Robinhood at least, you can trade derivatives, you can do futures, that sort of thing. Um, there's this platform called Robinhood Legends that Robinhood came out with, so that's where you can do all of that as well. But to go real back on the deal here that was made, Kraken originally offered. Oh, I guess I read wrong. I am so sorry. So the deal follows a month-long bidding contest with Kraken. So Kraken was going back and forth with the Brit about buying them, which opted to instead buy NinjaTrade for 1.5 billion. So Kraken is second runner-up with Coinbase as the most used crypto exchange, centralized crypto exchange in the world. I thought we had a number that was public, but I guess because they never came to a deal, you know, that number is not available,
Yeah.
which makes sense. But we can kind of get an idea here that Coinbase ended up paying more for the deal, which you know I don't think it was a bad deal because the Brit looks like it's the most used crypto futures trading platform in the world, and it what got like over $1 trillion in volume. Like here it says the Brit processed $1.2 trillion in trading volume last year, making it a dominant player in the
Yeah.
crypto options market. So you got to pay a
Well,
premium for that kind of volume and traction, you know?
yeah. We'll see. These derivative markets are kind of interesting. It's going to give way more liquidity to the market, but leverage trading is going to increase volatility, and crypto markets more and more just going to go the way of regular stock markets. Um, the one part that I'm interested to see is how do they integrate it? Do they bring it fully into Coinbase? Like, all of that. Like, are people just going to be, buying futures and all that? Like, there could be a whale that, you know, has movement on a wallet and all of a sudden triggers, panic selling. Like, we could see, like Black Tuesdays and stuff in the future in crypto market because of stuff like that, market scares. It'll be interesting. We've got wallets. Do you want to talk about the Silk Road wallet?
Yeah, yeah. So talking about whales. So uh, if you guys remember the Silk Road, which was probably one of the biggest use cases of Bitcoin that pushed Bitcoin to become more relevant. Without it, who knows where it would be right now. Well, in I think Tuesday, May 6th, two long dormant Silk Road linked wallets from 2013 moved over 3,000 in Bitcoin, worth over 322, I'm sorry, million in their first transaction in over a decade. Somebody was like, "Oh, hey, I have this much Bitcoin, so let's actually, put it to liquidate it or move it around." Um, so I did some digging, and I don't know about you, Leon, but I'm not sure if you've used like something of a blockchain scanner where you can see where the money moves.
Yeah.
So I tried to follow where the money was going. Well, there's this story from Dick Watch. It says long dormant Bitcoin wallet awakens, and kind of talks about what we're talking about. It gives you the details here as far as when it happened. It happened on May 5th, which was Monday, I believe. Uh, Blockchain monitoring platforms flagged two large transactions totaling 3,421 Bitcoin, worth more than 322 million at the time of the transfer. Now, the block height was 895,421. So, it talks a little bit more about how it happened. These funds were split into 31 outputs, with most redirecting to a new pay-to-witness public key hash. The second wallet was also created in July 2013, transferred 1,078 Bitcoin at block height 895, that block number. They didn't move it all at once. They were kind of just spreading it across different blocks and different, wallets. They're probably trying to be,
It's Ross. Like, he's
it's
out,
what?
dude. It's him. Like,
Oh,
it's
Brick
gotta
Ross.
be, yeah. Like, he got out in January. He was what, 11 years into his sentence out of 40. It's gotta be him. There's just no way that it's not him or somehow he's involved. Because now he's got an unconditional pardon.
He did. So I'm glad you mentioned Ross because uh, Robert, right? Or is it Ross? I forget how
That's
his name
Ross
is.
Ulbricht. Ross
Thank
Ulbricht.
you. I call him
Ulbricht, or
Robert.
whatever his
I was
last name.
like, yeah, Ulbrich is his last name. I was like, wait, is it Robert or Ross? But I did some digging, and historically, this has been known to be one of his public wallets. I think it came out when he got arrested, like his wallet address is this. And even till this day, he has over almost 90 Bitcoin, which is about 9.3 million, or at least 9.2 million if you don't round it. So this is his wallet. He still has money. And if we're talking about $322 million that was moved, I tried to look it up for about a day and I couldn't find anything. When Silk Road was relevant and a lot of that was happening, this wallet, I'm sorry, 1HQ3, which is it's known to be one of the most, the biggest wallets out there. Again, it was liquidated in 2020. It's not from here either. It's probably one of the biggest recognized Silk Road wallets. I'm not sure if it was used by the team or by Ross himself.
You got to read the book, man. It's called American Kingpin, and let me look
American Keepin.
where it is. It's American Kingpin, criminal mastermind behind the Silk Road. That book explains everything. It makes him be a little bit more of a bad character, but overall, like, it explains what happened.
Okay,
We'll
yeah.
put the link in the notes because it's such a good book.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it, Leon. I honestly just learned about it when I was just watching YouTube. Like YouTube, I learned a lot of the stuff that I do, which I don't know if that's very efficient alone. So if you have a resource like the book, that'd be great. I guess we'll find out more what happens as far as that story. I don't have much else to talk about, the Bitcoin that got moved, but do you have any other thoughts on that, Leon?
No, no. Just read the book. Everybody needs to read that book. It's really good.
Go ahead and check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments. The last story that we have today to talk about is something that just happened this morning on crypto Twitter, and it was the release of Doodle's meme coin. So I don't know if you guys know what Doodle's the NFT collection is. It started as an NFT collection. I know we covered that story a while ago. We were talking about how McDonald's came up with a collaboration with NFT Doodles collection. It was just in their cubs. It was nothing extravagant, but it was still pretty cool. Do you remember any of
No,
this,
I
Leon?
I love doodles. I also think this is kind of like, man, like almost a masterclass in just like brand strategy. It went to
It is.
McDonald's, now it's a meme coin on the blockchain. It's getting really interesting. Also, like NFTs were all the rage. Now meme coins are the rage. Like meme coins became the new NFTs. Um,
Yeah, I see what
it's
you're
kind of
saying.
weird to think about.
Yeah, so if you are well versed with this stuff, you might realize that Doodles is originally a Ethereum based NFT collection. Well, this morning they actually released on Solana. So if you
Oh,
go to
I didn't
Twitter,
realize that.
they did. And they go about it in this thread, I believe. So, well, here they talk about like how to claim your airdrop, which means, hey, if you follow up early, you register whatever the requirements are, you get more tokens, which is what a lot of these, active traders do. They buy token early so they can get more money in token airdrops, which that alone is already a really good, marketing strategy. Even Jesse Polak from the base team at Coinbase, kept an eye on it and said, huge congrats. Not here to give you financial advice or anything, but Doodles is on Solana. This is on CoinMarketCap. I can't find a post, but if you go to their Twitter account, they mention how they use the Solana blockchain because it's low fees and faster than Ethereum, which makes sense. Ethereum is ancient compared to Solana
Yeah.
or crypto standards, if you will. So it if you look at, for instance, CoinMarketCap, it launched today. So if you look at it on, well, I'm not sure how to look at it here on more than what's currently showing, but it launched today and it started at 1 cent. So that's kind of big. Not a lot of meme coins or shit coins, if you will, start at that price. They usually are like at a thousandth of a penny or something. Right now, it went down at 7 cents or 0.007, a little bit below a cent. So, a lot of it is people bought the hype and then they sold it, like the whales or whoever, bought in early, sold their share, and made a lot of money. So I try to follow this as much as I could. And this is Dex Screener. This is Meteora, which is kind of like a swapping tool on Solana. When it launched, it was at a penny and or 0.14, USD, and now it's sitting at 0.007. This is not an order book, but you can see all the on-chain activity. A lot of people are buying, a lot of people are selling. You guys can look at the link below. We're gonna add the link to this, particular swap history. But if you go all the way to the very beginning of Friday morning, you're gonna see that a lot of people were selling, which I believe those were like the early buyers. So it's kind of interesting seeing how people are buying the hype or taking
Yeah,
advantage of the hype.
this is the problem always. It's like
It is.
you got to get the doodle community involved, and they got to feel like, is this just a cash grab, or is this something that like is going to help solidify the community? Because I think Doodles is like a company. The old guy, the guy who did it originally came back as the CEO, and he
Okay.
wants to do like the Doodles metaverse, like maybe even a Doodles DAO. Like it would be really interesting, but I just kind of wonder if this is like a way to ride the meme wave until it crashes a little bit. Like The other part about Doodles on McDonald's, I believe Doodles and McDonald's was only overseas. It wasn't in America, right?
No, so it did start overseas, but eventually became it came down to America. And I say that because I was able to buy a cup of coffee, and then I got my Doodles design
Oh, that's
cup.
cool. Yeah,
I don't have it with me
I
right now.
don't go that often, so I wish I
Very good.
did. Um, no, but like Doodles has a really solid fan base. It's just like,
It does.
man, meme coins are just like a TikTok trend. People think about it and then forget about it within a week. So it's like,
They do.
is it going to hold up? Is it going to fold? Like, that's the problem.
I agree. Honestly, who knows? We'll see what happens with Doodles in particular. I'm glad you mentioned that, the founder, I believe, or the CEO wanted to do like a metaverse for Doodles, which is kind of like the same story we've heard since 2021, if you've been in this space that long enough, um, where they're like, yeah, this is going to be like the biggest thing ever on Web3 or whatever. So if you go to Doodle, and we can add I don't know if we want to add this link, Leon. I don't know how you feel about it, but if you go to do.doodles.app, this is where you would need to connect with your wallet. You will then have access to the white paper, FAQ on what it is. So,
Okay.
pretty standard. But I guess we can leave this link below, the dreamnet.doodles.app, where it kind of just talks about the white papers of the token. Um, this is not too different than what they already want to talk about. They're saying, hey, we want to release this is kind of like the step one in
Yeah.
creating like this metaverse for Doodles, I guess. Not you can do whatever you want. If you believe in it, you go for it. I personally have some Doodles, but like Doodle token, I didn't get the opportunity to buy Doodles, the NFT, uh, a while ago. But I probably won't go further than the meme coin for now. We'll see what happens. They actually have the tokenomics for the token here. It talks about the Doodle utility. So I think that's really interesting. You can look at, read this on your own. What I do want to talk about, though, is the distribution of the token, which I find it very interesting.
Also,
So,
one thing is,
mhm,
I have a Doodle. I
nice,
didn't realize how much they are right now. I'm looking at it right now. The Doodle that I have is like 4 grand. Like, it's not super rare. I
nice,
think it's actually one of the least rare Doodles fucking possible. Um,
nice.
but it's crazy to see that they're worth so much. Like, even just on that, like 4 grand for one. Like, ugh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't blame you. How much is the price of ETH right now? I probably should have, if you can pull
As of
that
a
up.
little bit ago, it's $2,334 and 30 cents. That was like maybe an hour ago. I keep what
2000.
Bitcoin is at, what DISA's at, and then what Ethereum's at on a actually on a terminal. Look, that's my
Nice.
favorite thing.
So I asked the price of Ethereum because right now you can buy a Doodle. Oh, nice. There you go.
I
So
love the terminal, the e-ink screen. Little
yeah, it
plug
looks
for
really
them.
cool. That
But
actually looks really
that's what I
cool.
keep it for there. It's a clever little usage of it. Is I don't want to know like every up and down cost change, but I do want to know roughly what these cryptos are.
Yeah, totally. So you said it was 2,334, 2,334. You can buy a Doodle right now for 1.36 ETH. So that's about a little bit about a 3,000 almost, I would say. $3,000 you can buy a Doodle. So you can do what you will with that kind of information. The distribution and value alignment for their tokenomics makes it so most of the community owns the revenue portion, or I mean the token distribution. So this seems kind of robust. They have a 1 year cliff with a 3 year vesting period for themselves, which is about
So
what, 32?
did I get tokens? Like, do I get tokens?
Uh I That's a good question. So I don't have a doodle, so I wouldn't know, but I think there was a pre-registration period for owners of the token.
How did I
So
miss this?
yeah, it was it was I don't know when the pre-registration was, but they do have all that information on their Twitter account. You can always look at it. You You can do your own research. Again, this is not financial advice, but Doodles is probably one of the biggest NFT brands out there. Maybe right next to Bored Ape Yacht Club, Pingu, you name it. So worth knowing, worth covering.
They had an event at South by Southwest in 21 or 22. Well,
Hmm,
it must have been 22 because I think they launched in 21. Um,
they did.
it was like end of year 21, so it must have been 22, or maybe they used it as that. But
Yeah, I like them. I like the art, the design, and even Phantom Wallet. They were like pushing for the release, so it's legit. It's not a scam. As far as if you go on Twitter, you will see that certain brands or fake brands that were created by bots or scammers, they will push for their token. But no, this is actually legit. Like Doodles did come up with their meme coin, so that's cool to see. We'll see what happens. Do your own research before you indulge. So that's all I have to say about it.
I like it. No, that's all I got.
Great, guys. Well, I think this is all we got to cover today. So thanks for watching. Again, go ahead and subscribe if you already are not subscribed. Go share this video, follow us on our socials, and leave us your
Don't
thoughts.
let's mention too. We'll be in Toronto next
Oh yeah,
week, right? For
yeah. So
consensus.
social market will be in Consensus 2025. So if you guys want to say hi to us, we'll probably do some interviews if you'll be there. You know, and you find us, we can probably do an interview like as far as, you know, your experience with crypto, what you think, what your thoughts are. And yeah, we'll have a special session next week for SLR at Coindesk Consensus, or maybe just from our Toronto Airbnb. We'll leave updates in our socials as far as that goes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, me
Pumped.
too.
Okay.
I'm excited for Canada.
Yes. Subscribe to all the places, the boost.fm, and then we should buy some social ledger domains.
We
Well,
should.
I'll get my credit card out tonight and I'm going to buy some domains.
Yeah, we're always looking to expand, so that sounds like a good deal.